SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.
When you think of a new vehicle, think of the team you can trust. The Cannon family has been taking care of customers for 70 years, delivering unbeatable deals and top-notch service. Cannon Chevrolet Greenwood. Together, let's drive.
And remember, when the smoke clears, nobody beats a Cannon deal. Nobody.
I'm Steve Azar, and I'm on the other side of the microphone, meaning I'm asking the questions this time, and oh, have mercy for the airwaves. I spent 20 years in Music City, wrote and made some hits, traveled the world, and then moved my family back to the birthplace of American music and where the magnolia trees prosper. And now every time I put my feet on Mississippi soil, when I'm off the road, well, I'm at peace. On this show, it's all about hearing the stories straight from the mouths of the friends I've made along the way, their journey to success. Heck, there might be someone on, I don't even know, but you know how us Mississippi types are. We tend to take well to new company. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them. I'm Steve Azar. It's just like that muddy river, moving slow. Ain't no worries, it's how life goes, baby. In a Mississippi Minute. That's right.
Hey folks, time for another In a Mississippi Minute. I am tuning in. I'm in Arkansas at my in-laws and visiting them for a minute. So doing it via Arkansas, forgive me. You know what I'm saying. But I did steal my wife from Arkansas. They're still looking for her, most of the state. But, I know a secret's good with you guys. Go to visitmississippi.org. Plan a good road trip. Stay in your Mississippi. Eat your way around Mississippi. Today I'm going to the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, which I am a very big fan of. I can tell you right now. And a fan of this man. We've become really good friends over the years via SuperTalk Mississippi. He is the former president and publisher of 3 incredible Gulf Coast newspapers, the Sun Herald, the Press Register, and the Times-Picayune. And if you're from anywhere in Mississippi or in the world and you don't want to say the word Picayune and feel good about it, I've always been a fan. But after saying so long to that incredible award-winning career, he took a break, thought he was going to retire. I was just on his show. I'm not going to give his name. Okay, I'll give it away. It's the Ricky Matthews Show. And we talked about him retiring in his 50s, and I said, how did you even attempt that? Because this man was born to communicate with people. It's what he does best in his life, and the relationships he's made, including mine, I'm very grateful for, but I know he's appreciative of as well. He hosts the Ricky Matthews Show. He hosts Super Talk Outdoors. And he has got a new book coming out that I'm so excited about, and I think is the most telling version beyond anything that he decided to do when he first put the pen to paper. This has evolved into a very honest, candid, vulnerable book that's going to share it all. It's going to bring tears to your eyes, and it's going to offer you, first and foremost, hope. And that's what this man is built on. So without further ado, welcome in my dear, dear pal, the one and only Ricky Matthews.
Hey, my buddy, Steve. How you doing, my friend?
You're floating around your house right now because you've been doing a lot of construction. I'm good. How's all this construction with you and Ann relationship-wise? How are y'all holding up?
It's going really good. Thank goodness. We've done several building projects over the course of our marriage. So she's a taskmaster, man. So I can be focused on other things. She works with our contractor really well, but essentially we just, as you saw, we're building a little guest house for our growing family, and it's been a multi-month project, but it's going really well. We're excited about it.
All right, Lou, I want to dig into your book for a while. I have no questions prepared because I don't need questions for this. I'm very excited about this whole process. I'm grateful to have a little section in there, a little page or two that you talk about dreams. Tell me where you are in the process, and when can you feel like we can expect it out finally for all of us to read, and what's the journey been like?
Okay, so when is this show airing? What do you have?
Are we that close?
Yeah, when is the show airing?
Okay, I'm going to tell you when it's going to air in August, but it's going to air August. Talk to my people and your people who are probably the same people while we're doing this.
Book comes out August the 29th.
I'm going to have you airing August the 28th.
Are you kidding me?
I promise you. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh my gosh, that worked
So
out
today is the
perfectly.
28th, actually.
Isn't that something?
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I mean, another little piece of divine intervention. So yeah, Steve, what happened is I started writing the book. My wife as the 20th anniversary of Katrina, this August, tomorrow, August 29th, will be the 21st anniversary of Katrina. But as the 20th anniversary of Katrina was approaching, Ann said, please grab the folder that had collected a lot of dust over the years and finish your book. And the book was in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. As you know the story, my wife and family and I were nearly washed away by the storm surge. And I was the publisher of the Sun Herald and worked with Haley Barbour to form the Governor's Commission, wrote the forward to his book about the storm, and all these lessons that I learned about life and leading in the community and volunteerism and all these things. I don't know what made me do it, but it's just started in the day or two after the storm, just writing these lessons. And so many different lessons. Like lesson number 1 won't surprise you, is make family your foundation. But it went from there. And I just got this long list of lessons. And eventually, as my career continued to take off, I left the Sun Herald, went to work for the largest privately owned media company in America. Life got busy for me, and I just set the folder aside and really just never came back to it until Ann urged me to start to write the book.
Wow.
Well, by the time she started to write the book, I had already been that she urged me to write the book. I had already been working for SuperTalk, doing the show for a number of years. And what started as a book about Katrina and life lessons from Katrina really turned into a book about storms. And so Finding Hope, 25 Lifelines for Life's Storms was born. And for the next year and a half, so I started just prior to Katrina, about 6 months prior to Katrina writing. And I continued to write through the 20th anniversary. Over the past year, as you know, my morning routine is get up about 3:30, write for 3 hours. I do my best writing in the morning. And I did that for 7 days a week for a year and a half, and landed on the book. Had a great editor and a guy by the name of Jim Asher, who used to lead the Washington bureau for the Associated Press in McClatchy. He's a Pulitzer Prize winner, and got it finished, and it's coming out on August 29th, so people can be able to buy it
tomorrow. It's coming out tomorrow, even though technically we're doing this interview a little earlier than tomorrow, but the 29th, your book, and the title is, for everybody?
Yeah, Finding Hope, 25 Lifelines for Life Storms.
Finding Hope.
Finding Hope.
You brought something up real quick. As a songwriter, sometimes we'll see something, and it's like it's not low-hanging fruit. It's something you got to make an effort to go get in your mind and write about it, right? And you have this feeling inside that's important over there. And if you're lazy and going like, oh, this line's good enough, you don't get the great stuff, like the stuff that changes the song's ability to impact, right? So you brought something up, and you were doing all these. I love how you put a system into place. You're writing 3 hours every day, which puts you in the writing room. You have to get there. But you also made some comments about how you pivoted to some things that were almost grabbing you. How did you know to grab those things?
Well, what was so interesting to me was that in the aftermath of Katrina, when we stripped everything away, I started to capture so many basic, important lessons about hope in life. And so I had a good framework. But then when I started thinking about all these different people that I had met, like Emma Benoit, who at the age of 16 shot herself. And immediately, the moment she pulled the trigger, she realized she didn't really want to kill herself. She really just wanted to relieve the pain. And from the moment she pulled the trigger, she had regret. And she damaged her spine and had many medical challenges, ended up paralyzed and in a wheelchair. But she's going on a mission, Steve, to save teens all over the country with her Emma Speaks project, and to tell teens it's okay not to be okay. And when we had a string of suicides in coastal Mississippi, she came here, and as a result of the visit she made with us, we discovered Hope Squad, this teen suicide prevention program, and we adopted it here, and it's kind of spreading across Mississippi now.
Wow,
but it was Emma who introduced that. So through Emma and Paige Roberts, who is a community leader in Jackson County, they were on my show. I got to know Emma really well. I wrote her story in the book. But what ended up happening, these people like Emma, and like you, Steve, and your story, and people think, oh, Steve's always been on top of the world, but there was a moment when you didn't know if you would ever sing again.
You top of what world? I don't know if I've ever gotten there, but let's take a quick break. Stay right there. Visit Mississippi.org celebrates what Ricky and I get to do, and that's talk to each other right in front of you. Check it out. We are the birthplace of America's music. Ricky's on the Gulf Coast. What a glorious piece of heaven. We'll be right back.
Your next customer is searching online right now. Will they find you or your competitor? If your website is outdated, slow, or hard to use on a phone, you could be losing business every day. SuperTalk Mississippi Media builds sharp, mobile-friendly websites that look great and work even better, and they're more affordable than you might think. We can drive customers to your new website with powerful radio commercials and targeted digital ads on Facebook, Google, TikTok, Hulu, and more. Call SuperTalk Mississippi Media at 601-991-2305 or visit stmmdigital.com.
People ask me all the time.
There ain't no street in this town where
I'm with my pal Ricky Matthews. He's in the Gulf Coast at his home. I am in Arkansas, just away from the Delta. It's a hard thing for me to be gone from Mississippi, but visiting my in-laws. Visit Mississippi.org. Plan a road trip. Cannot thank you enough for all these years getting to be on. Ricky Matthews has been on Super Talk for over 6 years. I've been over 9 years. And like he, we're both grateful for the people that allow us to be there. Take a ride on the Country Music Trail Markers. It's a beautiful thing, and I'm grateful, honored to be a part of that for sure. Ricky, you brought something up. You are talking about, we talked about some of these things, but you mentioned the Sun Herald. And I don't think I've ever asked you this. Sun Herald won a Pulitzer Prize for its heroic coverage of Hurricane Katrina, while your newsroom itself was devastated. So how did you manage trauma while demanding round-the-clock public accountability reporting? I mean, how'd you do it?
One of the most amazing things was to watch. At the Sun Herald, at the time of Katrina, we had over 200 employees, and 67 of the employees at the newspaper lost everything they owned by the storm. And some of them lost family members. Some of them lost friends. It was incredibly devastating. But watching people who had nothing left coming to the aid of the community by making sure we tell the story, it was the most amazing thing I have ever seen in my life. It was so inspiring. And one of the things, as time went on, we actually had a full-time psychologist that worked at the newspaper for 6 months to a year, literally daily, there every single day, to help our employees work through difficulties in their lives as they kind of recalibrated everything. But man, the professional journalism is such an important thing, but to watch in the face of the aftermath of the worst natural disaster in American history, to watch the team at the Sun Herald come together as family, help each other, help the community. It was truly incredible. So it took a village, man. We all had to work together. We had to help each other and support each other. And, it was one of the most inspiring things I've ever watched in my life.
And that's obviously going to be exemplified somehow in your book, right?
It is. Because in this first chapter where I talk about family as the foundation and why that's so important, I shift gears up to talking about the relationship, the experience that my family and I went through, nearly getting killed by the storm. and the realization in the moment about how nothing else really matters, only family. And I don't get to, blood family. That's what I got the opportunity to connect to. But some people don't have blood family. I tell the story of a young man named John Palmer home who came from an abusive childhood, and the judge took his parents away from him. That's the way he talks about it. And he came to Palmer home and found a new chosen family in Palmer home. So people find family in different ways, but that foundation is important. Once I pivoted then to talking about work family, and seeing the way that work family came together in the aftermath of that storm, again, was just a beautiful thing. And so I start with that, but the things that I learned about that working relationship and the role that the Sun Hero plays, there's a theme that kind of goes through the whole book as it relates to that. Wow. But Steve, you asked me, initially though, how did I fit it all in? And whether it's telling your story of nearly losing your voice, or telling Emma's story, or Ramsey Russell's story. He's from the Mississippi Delta, incidentally, and now travels every continent in the world doing duck hunting and duck conservation. But he was burned over 80% of his body, and heart even stopped at one point when he was 15 years old when a can ignited. And he was supposed to lose limbs. And these stories, when you start to add these stories of so many, I've talked about an Army veteran and what he went through and how he found himself, and through the Wounded Warrior Project, the way he's helping other people today, and on so many stories. My own experience as a paramedic and facing post-traumatic stress syndrome, and, overcoming dyslexia as a child, it all adds together, and every story fits beautifully in this arc of lessons that start with an ember of hope and end with serving the community and leaving a legacy and about passing hope forward. And one of the interesting things is this whole statement, passing hope forward, pass hope forward, had not been trademarked. So we actually trademarked Pass Hope Forward. And we hope that a mission will come from this, that people will see this as a mission. There's a children's book that's nearly complete. There's a teen journal, a Finding Hope teen journal that's nearly complete. And there's a group discussion guide free at rickymatthews.com that people can go get, that help use this book in a group setting. My goal is to save people. And I hope that these lessons that people can find somewhere in this book, something that touches them, whether they're trying to help someone they love or whether they're going through some darkness themselves, that maybe they can find a path forward through reading this book. Wow.
Okay, let's stay here. What did you served on the post-disaster recovery commissions, not only in Mississippi, but in Alabama, correct? What did that teach you about, at times, possible political friction during rebuilding efforts? How did that inspire your effort, especially in regard to Finding Hope, your new book out tomorrow?
Well, what I believe is that there's a message in my book for every community leader, for every CEO, and it doesn't matter if you're in Mississippi or Washington State. I led the oil recovery efforts for Governor Riley when I went to Alabama after the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. We had over 1,000 people involved in that effort. And then, of course, I worked with Haley Barbour to form the Governor's Commission on Recovery, Rebuilding, and Renewal. And I mean, again, the role that volunteers play in the community and how important that is, whether you're helping out at a school, cleaning up around a school, or whether you're literally leading a major effort and a recovery effort as a volunteer leader. It doesn't matter. What the lesson that I learned about how important it is for people to come forward, and how impressed I was about how many people, no matter what their situation was, whether, in some cases their businesses and their homes were destroyed, and they were still there sitting at the table trying to figure out what they could contribute to helping us get ourselves out of that mess. It was, Steve, it was incredible. But see, one of the things that I raise in the book is we don't need a storm to remind us. why we need to do this every day. We need to reach out and help people every day. We need to work to fill gaps every day. We need to, everybody's going through something. And look people in the eyes. Don't move through life so fast. Get off social media. Start to get to know the essence of the people around you. Appreciate them. These are the kind of things that the storms remind us of, but we should know this in everyday life.
You've said no to some publishers, I believe. You and I have had these discussions. The bottom line is you decided to self-publish this book, and
I did.
And you've been so kind in talking to our buddy Neil White. You said how great he's been to you, and giving you all this information. Shout out to our man Neil White at Nautilus Publishing. What a good man. But I want to talk to you on the other side of the break of how folks can get it. Well, real quick, you got a second to tell right now, tomorrow they can get it. Where are they getting it?
They can get it at the local bookstore. If they don't have it, just ask them to order it. We were really wanting to be very friendly with bookstores.
Sure.
We'll be doing some book signings at some point over the next few weeks, and we'll let people know about that. And, of course, Amazon.com is, you can go to get the hardback, the softback, or the e-edition.
And RickyMatthews.com?
Or RickyMatthews.com is especially important there because there are group discounts for churches and other organizations. There's also that group discussion guide. It's free.
Awesome.
And I think it's very helpful for people.
Awesome. Stand by. Finding Hope out tomorrow. Today is August 29th, so August 29th with Ricky Matthews, the author. We'll be right back. Visit Mississippi.org. Who is the birthplace of America's music? Well, that would be us. Stand by.
Up to $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
Your next customer is searching online right now. Will they find you or your competitor? If your website is outdated, slow, or hard to use on a phone, you could be losing business every day. SuperTalk Mississippi Media builds sharp, mobile-friendly websites that look great and work even better, and they're more affordable than you might think. We can drive customers to your new website with powerful radio commercials and targeted digital ads on Facebook, Google, TikTok, Hulu, and more. Call SuperTalk Mississippi Media at 601-991-2305 or visit stmmdigital.com.
In a Mississippi Minute with Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Highway 1 on my way down some fever trail. Eating on an edge barbecue.
Birthplace of America's music. I love saying that. I love that we adopted that because when I was writing songs and making music in Music City with my Texas friends, they were so boastful about how Texas music was it. And I would look at them and go like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? And we get into a little bit of, it would be it'd be not a big fight, only 10 rounds at 3 minutes with no gloves on. No, I'm kidding. I love all my Texas songwriter buddies, but I love the fact that we took it back. Visit Mississippi.org plays a pivotal role in reminding us of all how important Mississippi has been in the world of music. None more important. Check it out. My guest today, Ricky Matthews, his book is out August 29th, tomorrow. It is called Finding Hope, and it is something that he has been working on diligently in the wee hours of the night when most of us have been sleeping. He's 3:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning to 6 in the morning. Who does that? I totally get it. A very candid, vulnerable book that led him to writing things I guarantee that he could not have or would not have done 15 years ago in his life. Life has caught up. This book was time to be written. I would imagine the pen had a lot to do with as much as his fingertips. when he grabbed the pen. Sometimes the pen will grab your hands. And I have a feeling that this book is going to change a lot of lives. And the word finding hope, hope is what it's all about. Ricky, excited to have you on as always. This book has, how have you grown? Do you feel like as a human being, as a caring person, as a father, as a grandfather, as a husband? I feel like when, as a songwriter, I've witnessed a lot of my friends be impacted in their own personal lives by the art that they made. You can see it when sometimes they got to look in the mirror. Easier to see other friends who do what I do change their lives in a lot of ways. So how has this venture done it for you?
Wow, that's such a, in a lot of ways, that Katrina experience, I hate to keep coming back to that, but the Katrina experience reminded me what in life was important. And you know this because you and I have talked about it on the show before, but I talk about living every grain. And there's literally a lesson in my book about living in the now. And I had a lot of experiences. People will read about, for example, having to do mouth to mouth on my own granddaughter. God, thank God she lived. Or when my own heart stopped in Miramar, Florida. And, in the aftermath of that, just getting reminded about what I almost missed in life. Finding my own father dead as a young paramedic, and not being able to do anything to help him. These when you go through these kind of experiences in your life, I had a lot of reminders about what in life is ultimately important. Believe me, I had more than my fair share. There are people who had more than me, that's for sure. But when you sit down to write about it, I can't tell you how many times I was just bawling. I don't know, maybe I needed to get some of this out. Maybe I needed to experience what it was like to just be extremely vulnerable and extremely honest about what I had been through, and to write about it, because to be able to write about it from that point of vulnerability, just like if you're writing a great song from that point of vulnerability, that's the only way you're going to be able to relate to somebody who's also going through darkness in their lives. And it was important for me to be able to, I have a chapter about empathy and why empathy is so important, but it was so important to me to write about empathy in a way that I was being as empathetic to the readers as I possibly could be.
Right.
And so just going through that process, Steve, I think probably made me more in touch with it than I've ever been in my life. And I may never be the same again as a result of it, to be honest with you. Which I'm okay with that too, because I love where I am in my life right now.
Yeah, it's obvious. So to touch people, you can't, let's just say, people that are hurting, you cannot fool them that you're trying to give them some sort of medicine. And I say medicine, it could be in song or book or in art form of any type, not just something you take a pill and you swallow and you're fixed. I'm talking about people that are truly needing to be lifted up and are truly in a painful place. The only way that they're going to be inspired is for you truly to be vulnerable. And I know that you've gone all the way down to the dark and to the bottom and written it about. But the beauty is you took a lot of these personal experiences that probably you and Ann only ever talked about. Yeah. And now you're letting the world see it. And that's the beauty. And it was just time probably for you to let it all out. But it just sounds like to me that you became more and more and more vulnerable as you wrote this book. Right? Like, I don't think you went in expecting to bear it all, is what I mean.
No. Let me tell you something, man. This dyslexia part of my life, Ann did not know that I had dyslexia until I started writing about it.
Wow.
I never told her.
Wow. See, these things start leaking out of you, and they're so important in your DNA, you know?
I never told her. I never told anybody. I never told anybody. Wow. I write about just before I became publisher of the Sun Herald. The corporate office was in San Jose, California, and I get this call the day before I'm supposed to go sit down with the CEO of the company and all this about becoming a publisher of the Sun Herald. And they decided they wanted to use me as a test dummy for a new battery of tests that they have. And you and I have chatted about this before, but one of the things about my dyslexia, and this is common for dyslexia people, is that I see things in pictures. I see very complicated things. I can see things in very precise pictures that helps me see complex things. That's why later in my career, I was involved in massive corporate change efforts, et cetera, because I could see, I just had this ability to see things and remember things and these kinds of things. Well, anyway, I was worried to death about going to take this test, man. I was afraid they were going to uncover whatever, what I was trying to hide. And I got in there, and the main test was no words at all. It was just images where you had to find the patterns in the images. And my mind literally devoured it. And I called Ann afterwards and I said, oh my gosh, I did really well. And I was so relieved, and the kind of rest was history. But my secret stayed a secret, and I didn't tell anybody. It was later actually that a friend of mine who's involved in the dyslexia group down here on the coast, that as I was writing about it, I reached out to her and let her know that I was writing about it. And I told her that it was a little long, so I took that part out about the corporate side. I didn't really want to tell that part of the story. And she says, oh my gosh, Ricky, you have to leave that in there. That is so important for people to know that part. And so I did. I left it in, and I really thank her for encouraging me to keep it in. But can you believe that I never told a soul?
Wow. That's my point. And that, and there you are. And that's why this thing's going to impact so many people that need to read it. You mentioned visual. So us crazy songwriter types, we see everything. It's like it's written right there in front of you. Not just written. Sorry. It's so visual that, and that's what we go grab in our minds, and obviously turn them into words. But when I use the word written as paintings or anything you visually see, but in our minds, everything is visual, and it's just how we process things, and it's very helpful. And it adds color to songs. We call it furniture. Anything you can touch, smell, see, feel. That's furniture, man. We'll be right back. Visit Mississippi.org. You know how many people have written visually from the great state of Mississippi and changed the world of music, sang about it, from Elvis, BB, Muddy, Faith, Marty, you name it. They come from Mississippi. We'll be right back. I'm Steve Azar with the wonderful Ricky Matthews. His book, Finding Hope, out August 29th. That's tomorrow. And if you're listening Sunday, it was 2 days ago. Quit doing the math. I can't figure it out. Or actually, it was a day ago. I can't even do it. We'll be right back with Ricky Matthews.
I've been dying for you. Took forever, it seemed, to find you. Less than a second for me to adore you. Hey, 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 real Laura. Hey, 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 real Laura. Yeah. Hey, hey, hey. I'm still trying to find my way.
Up to $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
Your next customer is searching online right now. Will they find you or your competitor? If your website is outdated, slow, or hard to use on a phone, you could be losing business every day. SuperTalk Mississippi Media builds sharp, mobile-friendly websites that look great and work even better, and they're more affordable than you might think. We can drive customers to your new website with powerful radio commercials and targeted digital ads on Facebook, Google, TikTok, Hulu, and more. Call SuperTalk Mississippi Media at 601-991-2305 or visit stmmdigital.com.
At Key Construction.
flying down that levee road, trying to see how fast you go. I got my baby along for the ride. There's forever far as I can see. At least that's what I want to believe, girl, as the sun sets in your eyes. Well, some things never change. Some things stay the same, like the blues and the truth and the night I fell for you is everything that I've become. All the signs and the times and the memories in my mind, all roads lead back to Highway 61.
Rolling with Ricky Matthews, the Ricky Matthews Show, Super Talk Outdoors. You have gotten to know him, and he does his show so wonderfully. He loves to communicate. He loves to interview, and he loves to listen. But he's got a new book out. First of all, visit Mississippi.org. I'm so grateful for you guys for allowing me to have conversations with Ricky Matthews and my team at Super Talk, Ricky's team at Super Talk. Go to visit Mississippi.org. Plan a road trip. All right. Ricky's got his brand new book, Finding Hope, out August 29th, and I'm excited about it. Ricky, let's do a little bit of like you're doing a book signing right now with me.
Yeah.
And why don't we talk about you reading some excerpts from it?
Yeah. Okay. Let's. One of the things about my book is that it's as important for someone who may be going through some tough times. It's very important to anyone who's going through tough times. But if you know someone who's going through tough times, there's a Pass Hope Forward page at the beginning of the book that gives you the ability to write your name and a message of hope to somebody, and then their name, and then pass the book to them. And hopefully, if they're just out of things that they can try, this might open up some conversations. So I hope that people who are worried about somebody else might find the book very helpful. But let's go to lesson 9, and it's gratitude. And the subtitle to this one is Find Your Rose. And I start out every lesson with a quote. And this one says, some people grumble that roses have thorns. I'm grateful that thorns have roses. And that was Alphonse Carr who said that. And there's a lessons for the first half of the book. There's a lessons heartbeat that's in there. And it says, in every storm, there can be grief, pain, or heartbreak. There are thorns these are the thorns that can be in our life, but there's always a rose there too. A small shift toward thankfulness can change how we feel enough that it rekindles hope. And so here's just 2 quick paragraphs. After Katrina's aftermath broke my heart. 2 days after the storm, I sat on a debris pile against my house full of broken boats, homes, and trees. The National Guard had just been there searching for a body. We'd seen the surge slam into a tree. The odor of rotting seafood, which had been deposited onto our property from destroyed seafood factories miles away, overwhelmed the air. I thought, how will we ever get ourselves out of this mess? I put my face in my hands and cried like a baby. When I looked up, I saw a squirrel pulling itself across a fallen limb. Its fur was matted and a large bloody gash ran down its back. Our eyes met. In that single powerful moment, the little near-death creature uttered a truth I'll never forget. You're alive. Anna is here. Your kids are safe. I suddenly experienced an overwhelming gratitude. I realized my family had survived. They were my roses blooming in the ruin. That deep thankfulness kindled a divine hope in me that stayed with me and then I go on from there.
Wow.
So sometimes we just have to find the rose in our ruin. People are going through storms. Find your rose. And if a rose, and I end this way. So stop right now, look around, name one rose still blooming in your storm, then feel it and hold it close and let it lift you. Because as long as you can find a rose, hope still has room to grow.
I love it. I love it. When we were kids, we might have not been so vulnerable enough to write about the rose.
Isn't that true?
But, yeah, really, really great. And you talk about those things that matter in your life. It's called perspective, right? How many times have we been brought down to earth where there's perspective of one thing or another, and we've got to sort of gravitate toward the people we love, the ones, roll with the ones you're with. Just so important, so special. And Ricky, this book is just going to be, it's going to be so wonderful. Obviously, folks can get it on Amazon. Amazon has books. Are you serious? No, I'm kidding. Yeah. All right. And then, and they started out with just books. And then,
but I want to encourage people to go to your local bookstores.
Yes, we
support them.
With the One Mississippi Children's Book, it's been the greatest honor having all the folks around these great bookstores around the state. Just, they've been so sweet and so gracious, and they've been awesome. And I've gotten to know a lot of them, and I'm really thankful. Shout out to all of them for being so wonderful to Sarah Francis and I, Neil. And you're about to go on a big old book tour. So let's talk about the reality of how people have to get to know this besides the power of SuperTalk and your shows and all of that. Visit Mississippi.org, celebrates all of us and all the things that makes us who we are. And I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. Finding Hope, the book, it's out tomorrow.
I'm Steve Azar. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them, where you can take your sweet time.
A SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.